just wanted to share my morning thoughts, I guess, on where my mind's at as I go get the boys for school this morning. You know, we read in the Bible about the miracles that took place, and the thought occurred to me, what if we had newspapers and social media back then? You know, how would that be like it is today? And I got to thinking about things like the woman with the issue of blood, you know, having it plastered all over the front page of the paper and people talking about her on Facebook. This chick done been having this thing for 12 years, and suddenly she touches somebody and it's gone. Fact or fiction, you know, or man claims he was raised from the dead after falling out of a window. You know, is it a hoax or is something more? You know, and you think about that, miracles usually don't make sense and people don't want to believe them, but that doesn't mean that the miracle isn't any less real. I know for a fact a couple of months ago that my daddy was not expected to make it. Like his blood pressure was like 70 something over 40 something. He was septic to the point he didn't even know who I was. And we got him down to a local hospital down in Mobile, Alabama, and they was constantly coming out, you know, every hour, you know, don't get your hopes up. He's probably not going to leave this hospital alive. There's a very small chance of survival. His prognosis is very, very poor. He's a very sick man. Like, when I mean they was giving us no hope, I mean like absolutely none. And upon reading his clinical notes, like just through his health portal, and finally tracking down people that would actually tell us what happened, we found out Daddy died multiple times and was clinically dead for 2 minutes, like unhooked machines, fixing a pronounced time of death, and the Lord raised him back up. That does not sound like anything logical by human standards, but that doesn't mean that that miracle is any less real, because my daddy's still alive here today. You know, and then I think about our church service the other night and how when you're on the brink of that breakthrough and something magnificent is about to happen in your life, all hell breaks loose. Your mental faculties will be challenged. Your physical body will be challenged. You're going to have people slandering you and accusing you and berating you and, you know, just mocking you. You'll go through social torture. You know, your marriage is going to be under fire. Your finances is going to be under fire. You know, everything that you can think of, and you're going to feel like, you know what, this is absolutely too much. I'm fixing to throw the towel in. I can't handle this anymore. But if you'll just step back for a second and look, if Satan can get you to stop before the miracle comes, he is going to try and convince you that miracle is not going to come. So you may as well give up. And then when you do give up, he can beat you down with, see, I told you it wasn't going to happen. I don't know why you got your hopes up thinking that God's just going to swoop in and save you because you're just so wonderful. So you may as well give up. And then you've got all the outsiders looking in like, you know, who do they think they are? You know, whether they don't think that they're good enough for God to do anything for them, or whether or not they even believe in God. You know, it doesn't make sense to the natural human elements of the mind. You know, and not that I'm saying that this man has done it or hasn't done it, but I've seen this man in our hometown be plastered all over social media for what he may have or may have not done. And I'm not saying that he did or didn't, because I don't know the man personally. But the thought come to me this morning. It's cases like that where you're slandered everywhere, where your marriage is under fire, and nobody knows what somebody is going through behind closed doors. And the world is so quick to jump to conclusions on what is or what is not going on in your life, and what has not happened, and what you have done and have not done. And if the world could ever get to where they have compassion like Christ, and for that matter, Christians, if Christians can get to the point to where they have compassion, and man, even if somebody has done something, keep your mouth closed. You're supposed to encourage them, give them truth and love without condemning them, help them up. That's your job, is to help them up. You're not supposed to kick them while they're down. So that was my random mind frame this morning, I guess. So if people could start looking at that, don't be so quick to judge when you see some kind of hot tea going around about somebody, because one day if somebody's out killing a whole bunch of folks, but then they have a whole encounter on a road to somewhere, and then they are radically transformed and win millions to Christ, people would still bring up the fact, man, he used to kill folks back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That's Bible stuff. I witnessed that in my own life. Someone having this radical transformation and being spirit-led and walking for God, and people still bring up what they did 30 years ago. Well, baby, that person don't exist no more. In your mind is the only place that person exists. So why still talk about it? Because if God's forgotten it, who are we to ever remember it? Because if we always bring up people's past, then we're in effect saying that the blood that God shed on Calvary was not enough. And if that's the fact, then God died in vain. And why do we have the audacity to even have that mindset? So that's my little 2 cents this morning. So I hope we wake up with a fresh perspective and a fresh mindset on helping to encourage one another, and not trying to kick somebody while they're down, and have more compassion with the people that we encounter every day. God bless.